Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is my dog, Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Today's video is going to contain some conversations regarding assault, specifically sexual assault. So this is your official content warning that that's what's happening in this video, which y'all know is not my favorite thing to talk about, but I totally understand if you may not be in a place to watch this right now at this moment. Feel free to click off the video, come back at a different time when you might be ready to watch it, or just not watch it at all. So there's been a lot of fun, silly, goofy stuff that's happened in Rosie, aka Quirky Love Rosie's, online presence in the past week or two that would be really fun to talk about. Unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about those things today because something really unfortunate happened with a weirdo on the internet that went above and beyond to be awful and nasty and terrible to Rosie. Because for some reason in this corner of the internet, people don't contain the capacity to not be a complete and total fucking weirdo. And if I'm gonna sit here on Al Gore's internet and make a video about how Rosie's weird and parasocial with me for being in my DMs, oversharing, begging me to react to her, then the particular weirdo that we're talking about today who is harassing her in real life is even weirder. So let me provide you all of the context for what happened in this situation. If you don't know, this week was Rosie's brother Levi's birthday, and she was doing a number of streams to help celebrate that. Well, I don't know, maybe help celebrate Levi when she's making it all about herself is like tough to say, but she had some streams in honor of Levi's birthday where she was cooking special things for him and stuff like that. And in the live stream where she was making a lasagna for him for his birthday for him to eat, the end of the live stream, Rosie gets this email. Why she's checking her email on live stream, I'm not really sure, but Rosie gets an email and has a response to the email and then also ends the stream.
Since he's taking a minute, I guess I'll just go ahead and say it now because I need to address this at some point. Last year on my brother's birthday, the person who ended up getting his channel terminated, that was the day he sent something to my house and got me doxxed and everything. And he just emailed me to inform me that they are going to interview the man who sexually assaulted me. So, and it's almost 6 years ago to the day. And I still, I'll talk more about it later. Hey, hi guys. Alright. I'm really not today. The other part of the email said to tell Levi a happy birthday. So, he had a great day. And that's all that matters. For those that missed it earlier, because some time has passed, I was waiting for Levi. And in that time, I opened an email from the person who's doxed me. I kind of expected my doorbell to ring today again. I guess of you trying to ruin his birthday last year? I didn't let you do it then either. So, I'm also going to just add this little caveat. Because the only reactor I ever really watch or engage with is Pulpy. And one of the things that really turned me off from moving forward with like engaging with any aspect of his content was the person he was platforming is Cam's accomplice. And Cam has been terminated off of YouTube twice and X yesterday because he's so abusive. I'm not going to state his full username because fuck you. In the email, he informed me that they are planning to panel with and interview my rapist from 2020. I'm going to state some facts here. I have a case number with the police report that I filed that was not investigated because COVID broke out 2 weeks after I filed it. I have medical records that show the permanent physical injury I have from what he did to me. None of this is internet content. I have the text where he was explicitly told the thing he did to me would never be something I would consent to. And there were 3 separate incidents prior to leading up when that person who I considered a friend raped me. And I'm using the word because that's what happened. So I want Girl World to know that if you watch that interview, you are supporting and helping people monetize off my rapist. So Chris and Britt, I hope you're happy with who you paneled with. I hope you feel good and you're sitting in your morals. I hope you're happy because that is who you've got with to try to spite. This attack on me is nothing I have done in internet spaces warrants this. Nothing. I will not let you win. My brother had a great day, and that's all that fucking matters. So, I'm going to go because I can't eat right now. To my supporters, I appreciate you. I thank you. But I have the medical records to show what he did to me. And of course a rapist is going to say that he didn't. He also posted the revenge porn of me. What was that? Last year? 2 years ago? I think it was in 2023. So, if that interview happens, you guys might find out a lot about my past that I left behind. And that's not who I am. And if that's who you choose to believe that I am, that is out of my control. This is evil. So, Pulpy, maybe you should be careful who you're shouting out. Other reactors, maybe you should be careful who you're who you're platforming. Maybe you should look into the history, because I also have the text of Chris telling me that that person was calling her a map. I have it. I have the evidence. Those are the people that we're dealing with right now. So fuck you. And that's really that. My brother had a great day. He really enjoyed his meal, and he is going to continue to have a great day. And I thank you guys for engaging with him in the way that you did. It means the world to me. I love you guys. Bye.
Rosie goes on to also provide further clarification in a Twitter thread that she also posted on her community tab post. The post on Twitter said, "The crossed out name is the legal name of my rapist. I only know of one person who could have given him that information. See my retweets below this tweet for context, and dates showing this is the second year in a row he's attacked me on my brother's birthday." And then she provides a screenshot of the email she received. I'll probably edit it even a bit further because I don't know if that's Cam's real name or not. So just to be safe, because listen, I don't know a shit ton about this man outside of what I've learned to make this video. So anyways, the email subject, body, whatever, the subject says, "Happy birthday, Levi." The body says, "Interview with blank incoming. Tell Levi we said happy birthday." And then it's signed Cam, which is obviously an insane thing to message somebody on their brother's birthday, to like disguise this as something about the birthday of Rosie's brother, and then also include just heinous stuff like the name of somebody who attacked Rosie. In the Twitter thread, Rosie does go on to try to discuss the ways that she thinks other people are involved in this, because Cam used the word "we" in that email. When she talks about this happening before, last year on Levi's birthday, Cam ordered some alcohol to be delivered to Rosie's house for Levi's birthday. And it happened while she was live streaming, and it was to get a rise out of her. It was to be really unnerving and be like, "Hey, I know where you live. I know what's going on here." That's weird. The only other thing from her thread on Twitter that I want to make a note of, just because it will be important in later parts of our conversation today, is that she ends the thread by saying, "This isn't content, this isn't tea, and fuck any of you who treat this way." And then she says, #girlworld. Probably should have tagged this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. No one deserves this. And that's important later because, she has some follow-up where she's upset that more people aren't covering it and talking about it. And so I guess that will make sense later. Now, Cam went on to do a live stream the same night that he sent that email. He is actually not able to be on YouTube in any capacity because a number of terms of service violations, including one where he got removed from the platform because he threatened to pew glitter and lasers. So he live streamed on Twitch, where I guess he does still have some kind of platform. Unfortunately, that live stream is no longer available publicly for people to watch. But fortunately, somebody recorded it and sent it to me. And in this live stream, Cam took ownership of sending this email to Rosie, and also said that he did it because he wanted to get a rise out of her.
All I said was, the subject line was just happy birthday, Levi. I said, interview with so-and-so incoming. Yeah, you don't have to say it. That's it. That was it. I just named a single name. That was it. And there was something so striking about the rant that she went on at the end of the stream, where she was like, "This is not content," and it's like, okay, now I know. Now I am like feeling more steadfast. Honestly, I could have just like walked away and said, "Oh yeah, it was probably a troll. It was probably somebody with like a fucking fake Gmail." But you know that I wanted to get a rise out of her. You know that she was pissing me off. You know that like I am telling you guys like, yeah, I just wanted to say something. Say fucking anything. I just wanted to say something. Like, we already have people coming out of the woodwork that Rosie has said groomed them and manipulated them into doing something like prawn, the chocolate cake incidents, and that's not true. It's just not true. And I'm not going to say that it probably wasn't some sort of a difficult thing, but the way that Rosie has continued to handle this thing and all of these other things adjacent to it, I'm sorry that this is going to be divisive. But as much as I want to believe anyone that says that this thing happened and it involved something.
In this live stream, Cam also shared a lot of his own personal trauma and experience with CSA and SA both. And I think what's really unfair on Cam's behalf is that Cam has a very specific way he thinks that people who are survivors of assault should respond to that and deal with that. And he also goes on to talk about how his real problem with Rosie is that she can go on and on and on and talk about this experience she had, but she refuses to name names about it. And he really thinks that if something that serious happened, you should have to name who your assaulter was.
Knowing that somebody is actively, potentially going to hurt other people, you name them. You name them. It's a difficult thing to confront, but I did it as a kid. And I did it as an adult and confronted the adult as an adult and let my adult parents confront the adult as a kid because it's confusing and you just want to keep people safe. And Rosie doesn't have an interest in keeping people safe. In fact, Rosie has an interest in keeping people under her fucking thumb or something. It's so bizarre. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm going to state some facts here. I have a case number with the police report that I filed.
She's never posted the report. She's never posted. Name them. That's all I'm saying is like, it's so weird. Statistically and in my experience, there's no naming. Name them. Just name them. Just say their fucking name already. Fuck. What? Like, name them.
Cam even goes on to suggest that if you don't name who your assaulter is, that it blurs the lines of truth, and it also puts other people at risk because you aren't naming that person so that people know to avoid them. But all of that is simply not true. I don't talk a lot about this topic on my channel, mostly because it's a heavy topic. I have a lot of people in my life who have been impacted by it in different ways. And also because I used to work in education. Specifically, I used to be a residence hall director, so I ran a dorm on a college campus. And in that job, I was trained to respond to student reports of sexual assault. Sometimes I was the first person that a student told that this had happened to them. Things did look a little bit different for me because in my job I was a mandatory reporter. But overall, I received training on how to properly respond to this and help victims get the resources and information that they needed and to make decisions that helped empower them to reclaim ownership over their body. So this is a thing where I don't always have a lot of expertise in the thing that we're talking about on the internet. But if you want to talk about how to handle the appropriate responses of somebody who survived sexual assault and how they go about sharing their story, then I do have a little bit to say about it. And one of the most important things to remember is that a survivor of assault should be empowered to make decisions about their own story and how they choose to share it. You absolutely can give them all the resources in the world, places to contact, authorities to contact, but at the end of the day, you have to be okay with letting them make the decision that they feel the best about. If Rosie doesn't want to share sensitive details about a traumatic event in her life like this, she's not obligated to do it. She also is allowed to share whatever she wants to the extent that she wants to. A lot of Cam's basis for feeling like she should have to name a name is because she has talked about other aspects of the assault that she experienced. And he can't seem to understand why Rosie would share all of that but wouldn't just share the name of the person who did it. But I think Cam's actions in this situation shows exactly why somebody like Rosie might not share that information on the internet. Because there's weirdo people like Cam who are going to go out of their way to message her the name of her assaulter just to get a rise out of her on the internet on her brother's birthday. Rosie isn't entirely stupid. She knows that people like you on the internet, Cam, would do exactly what you did, which is taunt and harass her with the name of her alleged assaulter. There are so many reasons why people don't share the names of their attackers. And based on listening to Cam's live stream, it sounds like Cam was really fortunate to be in a situation where people believed him when he shared about his experiences of being assaulted. Unfortunately, many people are not in that position. Many people are not believed whenever they share their experiences, which, by the way, in Cam's live stream, he goes on to question if this even actually happened to Rosie to begin with. I wonder why somebody like Rosie wouldn't be willing to share information when she's just not going to be believed by people on the internet like Cam anyways. And sometimes naming a person who did this stuff can have more negative consequences for the victim than it does for the person who actually did the assaulting. So please be so fucking serious, Cam, when you're sitting here trying to justify you just wanting to be a troll and harass Rosie on the internet. Now, like I said, some people have taken this as an opportunity to try to, make this about people surrounding Cam as well, partially because Rosie has brought those people into it. And I don't want to spend too much time on it because I just want to be clear that I think by making this about how Cam's actions impacted people like Chris's romantic relationship with Nikki T, or Rosie's former friends Britt and Chris, I think that kind of detracts actually from the actual negative consequences of his behavior, i.e. weaponizing Rosie's alleged assaulter to get a rise out of her. But I do think there is a conversation to be had about how people like Nikki T have platformed Cam. I am familiar with Nikki T because she does do a lot of archiving of moments in Rosie's internet history, because Rosie has a history of deleting stuff from the internet. She's jumped from community to community to community trying to find a place where she fits in. And she's oftentimes pushed out of communities because, I'm sure you could guess, having now watched her for a while with me here on this channel, she is drama. She causes a lot of drama and she gets weirdly parasocial with people. So in that sense, Nikki T's channel has been really helpful in terms of archiving a lot of that stuff. However, Nikki T does have a romantic relationship with this Cam person. And despite Cam getting taken off of YouTube and not being able to have a channel on YouTube, Nikki T has platformed him on her channel at different points. It should also be noted that Cam was planning to move to Australia. He is a US citizen and he was planning to move to Australia to be with Nikki T.
And some of you know I'm working on emigrating to Australia.
And so he's had a presence on her channel, and I do think that matters and can be discussed, because even when Cam was doing this live stream, Nikki T was in his Twitch live stream and talking. Now, to be fair, I think she was mostly trying to convince him to log off because she was clearly very distraught that he did this and was very upset with him. She also tried to say that a lot of the stuff that he did was connected to him having a manic episode, things like that. I can't assess if that's what was going on. He seemed very calm and was presenting his opinions and feelings about the situation in like a very calm way. I don't know if that's something that a manic person does or does not do. It seemed like he was very satisfied with his decisions to do that. It didn't seem like he was being erratic or anything like that. So I don't know. That's just my observations about it. But I also want to be clear that at one point, Nikki was in his chat and said that she was upset because Cam used her research to do this.
I do not like you using my fucking research. Nikki, this was my research that I got. So, and again, I'm not saying that I'm not disbelieving. What I'm saying is we need to kind of take into consideration the actions that benefit an individual versus the actions that benefit people and the safety of others.
And that is really confusing to me because, like, I don't understand what research that involves or, like, why we're researching stuff about the alleged assaulters of random people online. Nobody, as far as I know, in this corner of the internet is a detective. Most of you are not even journalists, okay? Just to be clear. Handling issues of assault and things like that take far more finesse and nuance and understanding than I think a lot of people on this corner of the internet have the capacity to give those situations. So I don't know, maybe save yourselves a lot of trouble and just don't go diving into shit like this in the future. Like, I don't understand why we're trying to dig this stuff up. It would be one thing if this person came forward and had their own story or something to share about the situation. I don't know why we're trying to learn more information about this person with the limited information we know from Rosie. And for what it's worth, I do want to emphasize that Nikki has condemned him in both in that live stream chat and also in other places. She was in a live stream of a creator named Aren't You Exhausted, where I saw that she was condemning it. She's also since posted her own content on her own channel, condemning it and also apologizing for platforming him. And I do think that that's important for her to apologize for, because we need to be clear that, like, this is stuff that had happened before. I don't know a lot about this guy outside of what I just learned in this situation. But I also haven't platformed him on my channel, so I do appreciate that she apologized for doing that. There were a lot of people telling her she didn't have to apologize for his behaviors, his actions, and things like that, but I actually disagree. She very much had a voice in validating his actions and his behaviors, and even if he promised to not do things again, it really should have been enough to begin with that he had alcohol delivered to her home as a way to be like, hey, I know where you live. That's weird. And mind you, one thing I forgot about while I was actually filming this is that when he brings up the time where he sent alcohol to Rosie, and Rosie says that she doxed him, or he doxed him in that situation, Nikki is in his chat still defending that, saying, you didn't dox him, you just sent her a gift. And I also want to be clear that it's my understanding that many people have actually tried to share their concerns about Cam's participation in this corner of the internet, and have been turned away, or at least have been told not to worry about it. So a lot of this stuff really isn't news, and I'm not trying to condemn anybody, and I think if people do apologize and really change their behavior, then that's fine and that's great. But I just want to be clear that I appreciate her saying that she was sorry about platforming him, because it's definitely something she did while knowing what his previous behavior was. And again, this isn't really about how his behaviors impacted other people. A lot of people have been saying things like, oh, I just feel so bad that, like, he brought Nikki and Chris and Britt into this. That's not the point. I mean, you can feel that way. There are places to have multiple truths. Like, you can feel bad for them that they're involved with because of their association with this man. But also the larger issue is his behavior and how it negatively impacted Rosie, and also is an example of the ways that people who are victims of these situations are often not believed and often have these things weaponized against them, and how stuff like Cam's behavior really perpetuates sexual assault and the negative consequences of it in our society. One other thing unrelated to Cam's specific behavior, but still kind of weird and creepy that I wanted to note is that while I was watching this live stream from him back, I noticed that there was somebody in Cam's chat named Sal Doesn't Want to Be Here Too. And I was like, that name sounds familiar. And if it sounds familiar to you, it's because this Sal person was in Rosie's Twitch stream actually the day before the Cam email incident, and was trolling her about her previous adult content. Now in the clip, you're going to notice that this account doesn't have the 2 at the end. I'm assuming that's because this person has multiple accounts, because it seems like getting banned in people's streams is something that they're used to.
I'm sorry you went through that, Sal. Really, Sal? Oh. Did he ever, do you know if he ever participated in the chat or if he just watched? That is very wholesome. Oh! Are you being for real or are you trolling me? It's hard for me to know, Slacker. No, but... I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that information. Honestly, if that's real, that's fucking crazy. And if that's a troll, I'm gonna give you props for being creative. I'm just gonna say that. Because I don't trust anything on the internet. I'm just trying to process. Because I was like, what do you mean before YouTube? And then that took a minute for that to click. My head hurts. I think this is my sign to just sign off. I don't know why I'm laughing. I think it's because I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do. Oh my god, I'm so uncomfortable. Oh. That's what I'm saying, Pez. I laugh when I'm uncomfortable sometimes, or confused.
So again, it's weirdly, that person was being very supportive of Cam in his live stream. It seems like, this is the kind of behavior that is encouraged. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say encouraged. I don't know if Cam encouraged that person to go troll Rosie in that way. I know that Rosie's previous adult content work and sex work and things like that comes up a lot. And what I will say about this is that I think it's clear that Rosie's uncomfortable that she participated in that and that was a part of her history. It does seem like, for all intents and purposes, she's really tried to leave that behind. And I think regardless of how people feel about that, for me personally, it's not something that I want to try to weaponize against Rosie. People make choices and do things sometimes because they feel like they have to do it. I know she has a lot of stories about how she feels like she was groomed into doing that work. I know there are also people who disagree with that. I've even been reached out to by one of the people who used to work with Rosie in that way, and I told said person I wasn't really interested in talking about that information on my channel, because that's just something I don't want to be involved in. And it seems like Rosie would like to move on from that content too, outside of what she's already shared about it on the internet. So that's really all I have to say about that for right now, unless some other kind of information comes out. So that's all I really have to say about Cam's behavior. I think I've made it pretty clear where I stand with that. I do want to say that Rosie did follow up to this live stream and this incident and made a statement at the beginning of her next live stream that immediately followed that?
This all started, I just want to provide this information. This all started at the timestamp 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 50 seconds. Shortly after that, the moment I closed my eyes was the moment I read the email. The rest of the live that played out, I had one priority: not letting this affect my brother's day. I've spoken often of my CPTSD. The moment I read that email, my fight or flight kicked in. I had so much to think of, to process, to protect. I just knew that I needed to compartmentalize and focus on my brother. As much hate as I get regarding my relationship with him, I love him fiercely. He is my family, and he doesn't deserve this. I was going to wait until the celebration was done to say anything at all, but I couldn't stop shaking, and someone noticed, and I decided to just state what I had been informed of. Before that, I was also doing my breathing techniques I learned over the years in therapy. I was using every goddamn coping skill I had in my wheelhouse because, again, the only thought I clung to was, I will not let him make my brother's birthday about hurting me again. I know how to switch it off and on in that way. I have experienced immense levels of trauma in this life, something I would not wish on any human, even the ones orchestrating this. It comes at a personal cost to me and my health that I deal with off camera. I don't show that side of these pains. I had to put everything I had within my heart, body, and soul to prioritize him because he didn't deserve his birthday to be made about me and my pain. As I'm writing this, it's the next morning. I haven't slept. My food is still untouched on the counter, and I am in such a deep state of emotional shock. I haven't been able to move from my bed for any reason. If you watched the live, then you'd know that means besides the almonds I ate while waiting for my food, it had been over 24 hours. It's been over 24 hours since I've last eaten, and I cannot get my body out of this state enough to feel safe enough to do literally anything. That's just one aspect of the ways re-traumatization can impact someone. The email shocked me in the moment because my assailant had a name he went by in the BBW communities that was not his first legal name. But the select few that knew the ins and outs of the events that occurred, I used his legal first name. To those closest to me, and to some that are no longer close to me, that was the name he went by. The response from his friends and affiliated channels has been interesting and lackluster. A lot of saving face, distancing themselves only when it could blow back hard enough on them for their platforms to be affected. The harassment campaigns prior weren't enough for them to disavow his behavior. Cam is an individual with a lot of self-proclaimed mental health issues, who, from what I heard, used his mental health as an excuse for his actions on, I think, a now deleted stream on a different platform that's not YouTube. If I pulled that move, I would be lambasted by Girl World. I want to make something very clear. I never personally interacted with this 38-year-old man. I have never done anything to him. When my channel was brand new, he started digging into my SW past adult content. He was obsessed with me at a level that no other channel has ever shown. He has some friends who have come close, but his motivation seems so bizarre. My existing within my own life and body has not warranted a single drop of what he's done to me. I don't use these words lightly, but this man is sadistic and sociopathic. So I hope we can just move on from this. This is way too dark for me. For Christ's sake, I'm just trying to cook in my kitchen. So now you've lost the only person who would platform you on YouTube because she has to save face. Because she's become a name mentioned in other spaces. And if she doesn't, then she will lose her Girl World street cred. It's sad, honestly. This behavior and the way it's been managed is exactly why I talk about how I put reactors in different buckets. Why I see reactors like Palpy or even Charlie Gold and ZM in another light than the bottom of the barrel scum that is Cam and his crew. Because these people are not just reactors. They go IRL. They buddy troll. They contact and harass and dox the creators and the family members and those associated with them that they talk about directly. These behaviors should not be uplifted by anyone with a working brain. The silence in Girl World spaces today on this matter has been palpable. In a way, it's far better than making light of it, but it's also really frustrating because this is just a clear indication of how when people do wrong by the creators that are targeted, people fear to speak out in fear of being attacked for defending or even showing slight positivity or kindness in a situation that it is obviously deserved. I did see a tweet earlier from someone I used to watch a long time ago, Tiny Blue. We clearly don't fuck with each other and nothing's gonna change that. but I have massive respect for creators who stand in their moral ground. I know how much you don't want to defend me in any capacity, and you still called out the behavior now and from a year ago. It reminded me why I used to like your content, and I just wanted to state I really appreciated it. Thank you to everyone who has called it out in some way, maybe in spaces that I missed or people I have blocked. I poked around in some places I normally go to, and the silence has been confusing.
I think it's really weird to say now on her end, this is where I'm like, remember those things I said earlier? Remember where she was going on about how this wasn't tea and this wasn't content? I think it's very weird that she is searching around the internet looking for people talking about this when she kind of made it pretty clear that she didn't want to talk about this in terms of content and tea. And I do want to be clear, I was going to address this anyways. I was gonna at least mention it before I covered other things on her channel because I do think it matters and I do think it's important. I actually did briefly discuss it in a Twitch stream, and I know that many other content creators, specifically people like Nikki T and Aren't You Exhausted, who almost exclusively cover Rosie, have talked about it. So I'm not sure what corners of the internet she's looking on. There was a comment on one of her live streams talking about this, asking her about this, pointing out similarly to me that like, hey girl, like there actually have been a lot of people talking about this. What are you talking about? Specifically, user Just Jamie said, what do you mean? The silence has been palpable. I'm not sure who you mean because it's been a topic of discussion in every place I visited in Girl World today. And Rosie said, I didn't see it with the people I normally check in on and the Girl World subreddits I'm on. I also checked Twitter and barely saw anything. That was just from what I saw. It doesn't make sense, Rosie. I just gotta be so honest with you. Why are you doing this? Why are you making this thread and then hashtagging Girl World? Are you not the girl that said you didn't want to be a part of Girl World? You don't want to be associated with Girl World? And now you want all of Girl World talking about a very sensitive subject? Like to that extent, I don't know what you want, right? Like, and I really do value you having ownership of how you talk about this and what you want to talk about, and to the extent that you want to talk about it. And also, I do feel like you're sending some mixed messages. I am more than happy to speak out about how Cam is a weirdo because he is, okay? He absolutely 100% is a fucking weirdo. And I share about these things because I care about victims in all circumstances, right? Like, I don't have to like you or think you're the best person in the world to be like you shouldn't have to deal with behavior like this. But I just need a clear understanding of what Rosie wants or expects from this community and if she really wants to be a part of this community or not. So don't let that take away from the things that Cam did, because let me just really be clear and reiterate about 1,200 more times that Cam is quite clearly in the wrong here. And the unfortunate thing about this corner of the internet is that there are a number of people, it's not everybody, I think actually the majority are not okay with stuff like this, right? Like a lot of us just come here and we want to watch our shows and we want a place to discuss our shows, right? I think most people are not okay with this kind of thing, but it's also so weird how it's been taken to another level in recent history and normalized, and we just need to be clear that this is not normal. This is not okay. Cam is a weirdo, and I think as long as we keep putting pressure on the people in this community who do stuff like that, we can protect this space, right? Like, we get to decide what's acceptable. We get to decide who we support, who we watch, and we don't have to deal with that, okay? Cam is a loser, and he's gonna keep being a loser. He's proved it time and time again on this internet platform he has. The one he's struggling to keep because he keeps getting terminated for terms of service violations, okay? Anyways, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm sorry that it was like a heavier topic today. I promise to come back with some more silly, goofy shenanigans. in my next video. Y'all know I don't love talking about this, but in this case I did feel strongly about it. So here we are, and we are talking about it. Thanks so much for watching. If you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing. Hit the bell button so you get a notification when I post a new video or I go live. Leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. Thanks so much. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!